Good morning, everybody. Supposed to say good morning back. Good morning back. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm looking for. There they are. There's Sarah. How are you?
Great.
And boys, Johnny, Marshall, Cal. Welcome today. It's an exciting day for your family. Okay. Well, you weren't here 20 years ago, were you? No. About 20 years ago, 2008, we drafted your dad, and he led us to an incredible 14 years, the best 14 years in the history of our franchise, both on the field and off the field. And then left, went on to CBS, and did an incredible job there for 3 years. So he's coming back in a very unique position, a chance to kind of relive history for us for the next 14 years. But Cal has an opinion. Okay. So we're really thrilled. I'm addressing the family, but everybody else here, all of our fans. But we couldn't be happier having Matt back in the position that he is at now, which is the president of football. Basically, that means everything between football and grass he is responsible for. And with his success both on the field and leadership, really throughout the NFL over that period of time, we feel he's a perfect choice. We did go through a pretty rigorous process. We interviewed a total of 5 people, including Matt, some other really good candidates. But we felt, for all the reasons that I've expressed previously. So this is the third time I've talked about your dad in this kind of situation. One was when we drafted him in 2008, and Mom and Dad were together then. And I'm talking to the boys again over here. And then the second time was when Dad retired as a Falcon, and we were able to sign him to his last contract with us. And the third time was when he was inducted into our Ring of Honor. So Matt Ryan has been an incredibly special player, leader, and couldn't represent our team better, couldn't represent the National Football League better. During this process, I had a chance to chat with Commissioner Roger Goodell, and made him aware we're chatting with Matt, and his response was that, you're not going to find anybody better, smarter, more committed, a better human being, a better leader, for the NFL and for your franchise. So we're thrilled to have him here. We're trying to get through this real quickly because we want to turn it over to this guy and give him a chance to, answer all your questions and what have you. I do want to thank the members of the search committee, who included Greg Beadles, our president and CEO, my middle son, Josh Blank, sitting over here, who's our vice president of executive strategy. Is that the correct title, Josh? That is correct. And Rustin Webster, has been with us for 39 years. Where's Rustin? Is he here someplace? Not here, but so the 4 of us, including myself, were involved in the search for Matt's position. After we selected him, he signed his contract on Saturday morning. All of the coach interviews have been led by Matt. He's been involved in all of them, and will obviously be involved in all the coach and GM searches, interviews as we go forward. I don't think anything else. The process of filling out this position, which is new for our club, and head coaches and general managers in the NFL, is very much of a gated control process for a lot of reasons. The guy who understands that probably better than anybody else inside of the organization is Greg Beadles, our CEO. And Greg's going to take a couple of minutes and talk about the process and talk about where we are in the process and talk about what we got to do going forward and what our plans are. And then we'll flip it to Matt to answer questions and take it from there. But it's a huge day of celebration for Atlanta, for our fans, for football, for the National Football League, I would say, as well as certainly our franchise. And for me, it's an honor and a pleasure, again, to work with Matt in a different capacity, but a critical one for the next 14 years. So, and maybe beyond that as well. So, Matt, thank you very much for your trust and your commitment to us and commitment to Atlanta. And Sarah, thank you, and thank the boys, because I know you were definitely a big part of all this. So, thank you, boys, too. Appreciate that. Wave, hi. And the boys they're out of school today.
That's right.
So today's really a big day for them as well. So, Greg, let me flip it to you.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, thank you, Arthur, and thank all you guys for being here. Good morning. We don't take for granted you guys being here and supporting us the way that you do, so thank you for that. First of all, I'm very grateful to Arthur. I'm humbled to continue to serve this team, this community and city. I've been with the club for quite a while, a lot of different roles. Every year I can say it feels like it's a different job, different challenges, different opportunities. I've been able to learn from a whole lot of people inside and outside of the building over my time here. I am super excited to have Matt here. We've stayed in touch, known each other since 2008.
That's right, long time.
He's one of our legends, and like everybody that's been here, we try to pull them in as much as possible. And Matt's certainly one of those guys we stayed in touch with for those reasons, for sure. We both feel, we're going to have a great partnership. We already do. Great alignment, along with Arthur as well, just a vision for the team, and let Matt cover that, of course. Just cover, as Arthur said, just a little bit of the timeline. He mentioned last week we lined up and interviewed 5 different candidates for the president football role. At the end of the week, wanted to engage with Matt and see if we could get that done. He is a tenacious negotiator, just like he was tenacious on the field, but we got everything worked out and just couldn't be happier to have him here. And then we just threw him right in the fire, starting Saturday. We've had, as you guys have seen, 6 head coach interviews in the last 3 days. It all kind of starts running together for us, but those have just been fantastic. Matt leading those has been wonderful, just seeing the respect back and forth from these coaches and how excited, interested they are to meet with us and talk about the opportunity here has been super encouraging. We have a few more head coach interviews that we're working on, so you hear about those over the next few days as we finish those, just like we've been confirming them after they're done. And we have not had any GM interviews yet. We're working on that process, going through lists, and we'll begin that soon. It'll be like a little bit of a concurrent, 2 concurrent searches going on. Now that we're in, I guess, Matt, your 4th day, we're gonna start adding in some GM things as well. So that's the big picture where we are, and it's been a great process so far, great interviews so far that we've had. So, Matt, turn it over to you, man.
Number one, I want to start by saying thank you to Arthur for this opportunity. I think I'm not sure, I should have looked this up before, but we've been busy the last couple days. But I think I'm the first player you've signed to 5 different contracts. So that's 3 as a player, the one day when I retired, and now this one. Appreciate the confidence in me along the way. No, I am so excited to be back a part of this organization. Being drafted back in 2008, having been to Atlanta twice in my life, once for a recruiting visit to Georgia Tech, and then once playing at Georgia Tech. I didn't know much about the city before I got here. And now here we are however many years later, and it's home. It really is. The people in this city have made it home. The fans of the Falcons have made it home. And the people of this organization have made it home. And to be able to come back and be a part of it, albeit in a different way, but to be a part of it is incredibly exciting for me. I said it, you know, in kind of some preliminary quotes, but, you know, I'm sitting at the same table, but my seat has changed. And in a lot of ways, that makes it comfortable. I know Greg, I know Josh, you know, I know Rustin, I know Carl, I know so many folks that are helping us through this process, which has made it easier because signing, you know, my contract on Saturday morning and then being in an interview 2 hours later is not the easiest thing, you know, on the planet. But to have, you know, a previous both professional and personal relationship with the folks that are all a part of this process has been, you know, extremely helpful. To the Falcons fans, my mission since I was drafted has never changed. You know, it is to help this organization do everything it can to be champions and to win championships. And, you know, there is a sense of unfinished business of, you know, we were close at times and we had some success here and there. But I truly believe we're going to get there and have full faith in the people that we have in this building and the folks that are going to be coming into this building are going to help us get there. To the former players, my former teammates, so many of which have reached out in the last, you know, couple of days. I love you guys. I appreciate how excited you guys are. Can't wait to get all of you guys back in the building to bring that energy of former players, the former connection. We've got one here right now, Dave Archer. You know, that kind of stuff means a lot to a building. I know that from sitting in those seats as players when you see former guys come back and the respect that the guys in our locker room have for that. That's going to be an important part of my time here because you guys have paved the way for the guys that are coming in and a part of it right now. And look forward to that being a strong part of who we are as an organization. And then, you know, finally to my family who's sitting right here. I got, which Arthur mentioned, Marshall, Johnny, Cal, and Sarah, who are all hanging out in the front row. My twins are 7, and, you know, they claim to remember me being on the field. But I think it's more just on their iPhone or on my iPhone looking at YouTube or something like that, that has kind of, you know, made the memories. But for these guys to grow up around this building with the special people that are in this building and to be a part of it is really exciting for me. Cal, the fact that we have Gatorades here and you can slug them, that's going to be, you know, really fun. But to my wife, Sarah, I've said this, you guys have heard me talk about Sarah before, but I would not have been the player I was here if not for the support of her. And I certainly, you know, wouldn't have been able to do what I've done the last couple of years with CBS and the traveling and all of that if I didn't have incredible support at home and an incredible mother and wife. And she's the reason, you know, she's the reason why I can do this. It's going to require a full commitment and all of my effort, attention, and you know, just all of it, all of everything that I have. And she's the only person I could do this with. And I love you and appreciate that. So couldn't be more excited, happy to answer questions as we open this up, but can't wait to get started later today with some more.
All right, you guys can raise your hands for questions.
We want to take 1 second and thank the folks at the CBS, Dave Pearson, the whole crew at CBS that was really very collaborative and cooperative in working with Matt and us and allowing us to, you know, to have this conversation and end up where we are today. So special thanks to our media partner as well.
All right,
So,
start with Marie Martin.
Matt, congratulations.
Thank you.
Obviously, your football resume, especially here in this building, speaks for itself. But this is a new opportunity and challenge for you in a lot of different ways. Why do you believe that this was the right opportunity for you at this time? And simply, why do you think you're going to be good at it?
I think it's the right opportunity. Number one, I think when you look at organizations and you think about places you'd like to be, it comes down to ownership. Bill Cowher, I've sat next to him for the last 3 years, and he would hammer that home all the time. He would joke the three most important people in the building are the owner, and the owner. And so when you get an opportunity with the previous relationship and knowing what Arthur stands for. And what his family stands for, and you respect all of those core values. To me, that's what makes it so exciting in terms of an opportunity. I also think, I've really enjoyed every moment of the last 3 years, calling games and being a part of the studio show the last 2 years, the NFL Today. That crew's incredible. The guys on the desk, the people behind the scenes are unbelievable, and they become your team. But it's hard to replicate, having the wins and losses and the work that goes into that, and a result, like a result every Sunday. And that was something that I never shied away from as a player, and something, that frankly I missed during my time at CBS. So getting back into that, gets me excited. I think, as you mentioned, not having previous experience in a role like this, nobody does. I've been around guys who have been hired as first-time head coaches after being a play caller. And I've been around coaches who have been position coaches and never play callers. And they step into different roles and they adjust. And that's something that, I've done my entire life. Whether that be in football or whether that be transitioning into TV or doing things. I've never been scared of that. I think my working relationship with coaches and with general managers throughout my 14 years here and my one in Indy, is different from a lot of players. I do. I think when you are a quarterback of an organization for a long time, the interactions that you have with the head coach and the meetings that you sit in their office and talk about all the different things that are going on with the football team and decisions that need to be made or alterations in a plan or in a season, of maybe changing directions. It's different from other players. So I feel really well-versed in those conversations, and I feel like I've done it with a number of different guys that I have a lot of respect for and seen it from a lot of different angles. And I think the same can be true, on the front office side of it. The longer I was here, the more discussions that were had. It was never I was going to be a part of the decision, but I was asked for my opinion, and I was asked to interact with them. So I think some of those things will inform, what I'm doing now. I've got a lot to learn. There's no doubt about that. But in preparing for this, I talked to a lot of people from around the league, who have moved on as players, and I'm able to multitask. I can listen to noise in the background and not panic and keep going. No, but I talked to a lot of guys that I know from around the league who have made similar types of transitions, and picked their brain about what that might look like and what it meant for them and what were the struggles, what were the pitfalls, what were some of the things that weren't on their radar that should be. And I think some of those relationships that I have from around the league, whether it be execs or coaches, owners, GMs, et cetera, I'm going to lean on those. And I feel like I've got really strong relationships both inside and outside the building that are going to help me in this role.
We'll go to Bailey, and we'll go Mark. You led Mark across the front row.
You mentioned that, you got this new position and then you were in interviews. I'm curious, how will you evaluate a head coach differently than maybe some other front office execs around the league?
Well, I can't speak for how other people do it or what their process is or is not. I know there are certain things from my perspective as a player that you look for, character, being one of those. I think emotional stability, it's hard. It's a really difficult job to do, and there's lots of highs and lows, and some of the best guys that I was around in those positions were very stable emotionally, and that's certainly one thing I'll be looking for. And I think there's got to be a level of presence that you have to have, as a coach, and the ability to command respect of your players. It doesn't mean, you've got to be the most vocal or the best interview or the best in a press conference. It just means you've got to be able to connect with the players that you have. And so, I view it from the lens of what I always wanted and what I needed from coaches and some of the best that I was around. And I think you take all of those, I see Buck sitting here, he knows it, right? Like, you learn a little bit from each of the coaches that you're around at different stops, and you pull some of those things and you say, oh man, I'm looking for somebody that has some of those qualities and some of these qualities and some of those qualities. And, I think that informs, my ability to listen and to evaluate different coaches that we have the opportunity to talk to.
Front right, Mark.
D-Led, I've been waiting for this one.
All right, my man.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
14
Lots
years.
of these, lots of these.
Lots of them before. Hey, just want to know, Matt, what are you looking for in terms of fit and clarity of vision in terms of the head coach and general manager, make sure that they are, have the same clarity of vision that Mr. Blank alluded to
Yeah.
that was needed to move forward here?
Yeah, I think you're working, you're looking for two people that, don't see the game polar opposite. I think it's difficult if you've got, just a different view on how to best move forward. So we're looking for, people that are aligned in that vision. We're looking for people that work well together, and that doesn't mean, best friends. You've got to have a professional and really strong working relationship. And sometimes that comes with seeing things a little bit differently. But the best of the best find ways to get to common ground. And I think as we go through both of these searches, both the head coach and the GM, as we're going along that lane at the same time, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to find two people that we feel like are excellent in their role and what they're asked to do, but also, can provide a really strong working relationship together.
Mark.
Matt, can you sort of, and Arthur as well, talk through the sort of ranking structure and decision-making process as you go through this? I mean, is this a case where you'll have the final say on GM and coach and draft and things of that nature? What's the sort of expanse of your authority, so to speak?
Yeah, I think Arthur has been really clear to me with what that structure is going to look like. And, ultimately, Arthur's football team is his football team, but I understand the task that has been laid at my hands. That is to lead this process along with, the guys that and women that are along for that. But ultimately, we're going to come together, we're going to work collaboratively, and we'll make a recommendation to Mr. Blank of what we think, but I'm comfortable with that.
I think one of the things that's important to stress, which would be important for, all the coach candidates and GM candidates, is that, and Matt's made it clear to me, he has no desire to do their job. The coach will pick the coaches, position coaches, coordinators, et cetera, GMs will, style out their whole organization, helping through draft and free agency, et cetera. So, Matt will be involved in that, but Matt did not sign up to do their job. He signed up to get the best people for them to do their job with his support, his wisdom, and his guidance based on his experience. And that's what I'm looking for.
We'll go Mark Ramondi, then to Terrence.
I guess for any one of you guys, and congrats, Matt, on the new position.
Thank you.
The interviews for president of football that were already conducted, those candidates, will they also be candidates for the GM role as well?
Mark, so we're going through that process right now to determine, and Matt can jump in on. There's several people that we're interested in, so some of those folks may be part of the next process that we go through. We haven't fully determined that yet, but they certainly could be.
Terrence, back.
Yeah, Arthur and I talked about this last week, that you guys, Arthur believes in a collective type of decision-making type of process, but he said that somebody's got to make the final decision. So when it comes to football decisions, I'm talking to Matt,
Yeah.
will you make the final decision, whether it's big or small? And then the second question would be, when it comes to general manager, what's going to be the difference between what you do and what the general manager does?
Okay, so that's a loaded question because it's very open-ended on final decision. Final decision on what? That is the question. Yeah, there's a lot that goes with that. So the final decision that head coaches have are going to be the final decisions of the head coach. The final decisions that general managers have are going to be the final decision of our general manager. As I look at it right now, the final decision that I'm going to have to make in this immediate process with kind of Arthur's approval is who we hire for those two positions. But we are empowering them to go out there and do their job. And I've expressed that in our interviews, I think, as well with the head coaches that we've had. I'm not trying to call plays. I'm not trying to run your offense. I'm not trying to pull Philip Rivers and come back and play. I'm not doing any of those. I think most importantly, I'm trying to get the right person in here in both of those positions. And I'm trying to support you in any way that I can. I know the stressors that are put on, a head coach and a general manager, and the number of different directions that they're pulled. I view my job as taking some of those things off their plate in terms of the responsibilities and allowing them to focus on their superpower, which is coaching the football team and acquiring and scouting and looking for the best players we can find.
What about the difference between you and the general manager?
Yeah, the difference is I'm not doing the scouting. I'm not, running those meetings. Our general manager will do that. The general manager role is going to be exactly the same as what it's been here before, and that's something we've made clear to everybody on the coaching side that we've met with up until this point, and we'll make clear, through that process to the general managers that we're going to look at in that process as well.
Terrence, anybody in either of those positions, I mean, they're not going to want to compromise the best people, which is the only people we're talking to. They will have no interest in compromising their job and be less of who they could be and should be in their role. And Matt has no desire to maximize his role with them or to overstep his role. His job is going to be primarily to make sure we hire the very best coach and coaching staff that we can, the very best general manager and the staff that he or she will be producing, and make sure he gives them the kind of servant leadership that we provide throughout our whole organization. Everything in all of our businesses, including the Falcons, starts with an inverted pyramid with the people we serve on top, which is our fans, and it goes down. I'm at the very lowest bottom. Here is a servant leader to support the whole system. And Matt, in terms of football, will be in that role as well. I mean, he'll be the servant leader, providing leadership, support, wisdom, guidance, enthusiasm, everything that's needed. But, encourage people. They got to do their own jobs. That's our job, is to hold people accountable as coaches and general managers and obviously as players as well.
We'll go to Allison, followed by Justin.
Matt, I know this is a new position, but when did something like this come on your radar? Like, did you ever see yourself being in a front office role? And once you do hire a head coach or a GM, what is your job after that?
So the first part of your question, I didn't. I was really happy, with what I was doing at that time with CBS and excited about that opportunity. And I want to make it clear, this is the only place I would do it, and I feel really connected to this organization and have my entire life, or adult life. So from that standpoint, I would say no. But what does my job look like after? That's a great question. As we've done these interviews, I've been thinking about that myself, because we're diving into these things and I'm like, okay, we got work to do, and this is busy and it's intense. But I do think it comes down to, where can I support? Depending on who it is at the head coach position, or who it is at the general manager position, in what ways can I help? And that's really how I view it. Everybody has different personality types. Everybody has different strengths and different weaknesses. I think one of the areas I can provide support to people who are coming in that are new is the relationships that I have here that are previously established, and helping grow those relationships as quickly as possible, because that's one of the things I believe in. The separation in this league happens from the people in the building. And the faster everybody gets on the same page, and the faster we get to know each other, and the faster we create really strong working relationships, the better our chances of being successful on the field are. So from my opinion, that's one of the biggest roles and responsibilities post-hires.
We'll go Justin, followed by Joe, and then Josh.
Hey, Matt. Congratulations, first of all. You've prepared game plans and prepared for broadcasts over the past years. In the here and now, you're in these coach and GM interviews. How did you get ready for those? How did you decide what questions to ask? And ultimately, how will you decide how you'll make those big decisions?
I did a lot of game plans, a lot of prep for TV. I also learned in both of those, you got to be able to adjust, and you got to be able to adapt and get with things, quickly. So it's a little bit of feeling out. I think in that first, couple minutes of the first interview that we did, it's a little bit of feeling out. But Greg and Rustin and Josh, I think were incredibly helpful of printing out a format for me and saying, we're going to work through this format, and we can make adjustments as we go. But I feel like the process and what they had laid out from the start was incredibly helpful. The good part is you're talking about football, right? And you're talking about things that, I've spent my entire life doing and being around. And I think from that standpoint, once you get into a lot of these conversations, that becomes very comfortable for me in an area that I really enjoy and lean into. And so at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to find out, right? How you feel about football, what kind of leadership you're going to provide. Those are things that, I feel like I have a really, strong wealth of knowledge on.
Matt, Joe Patrick here, 92.9 The Game. You mentioned that you were able to pick the brains of some of these former legendary players, frankly, who were able to rejoin their organizations in similar kinds of roles. Would you be willing to share any of those names of people you talked to? Would you liken your role to any of them, in particular the most, and any kind of imparting knowledge that they were able to share that has stuck with you to this point?
I'm not gonna share names, but I think the overarching theme from former players that I've talked to is, and I talked about this on our show on CBS on Sunday. It's tough when you're done, and that's not an easy part of your life, especially when you've done it for such a long time, and there is this sense of you miss some of that being around the team or the locker room, but you miss the competitiveness, the result, the nature of being prepared and doing everything you can and then laying it all on the line and having that. There's a level of missing that, and I think that's one of the things that guys that I spoke to about is it's different than playing. That's what they say, but it does get your juices flowing. And that is one of the things that, I'm excited about. I also think it's just, you take that part out of it, the teamwork, being a part of something bigger than yourself, having no agenda, like zero agenda, and just wanting the best for this place is something that, I think is really valuable. And that was something that those guys talked about as well.
Go to Josh to your right.
Hey, Matt.
Josh? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You mentioned looking for ways you can help. It feels like you've got some expertise on the quarterback position. I'm wondering what you think about this team's quarterback positioning, how you will try to help Michael Penix, and will you be involved in, the decision-making at that position?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hired to come in and be the quarterback coach, but, I love Mike and have gotten to know him through the last couple of years here in Atlanta. So anything he needs from me, I'm a part of this organization and happy to help in any way that I can. But I'm not a coach. I'm not going to be that head coach or quarterback coach. If asked and if the relationship, with that department is right, happy to help in any way that I can. But, we want what's best for our players. I think everybody in this building, my view of it is that everybody here is in some way, shape, or form supporting the players that are on the field. And that's all of our responsibilities. And so it's working together to figure out, the right plan for Mike and his rehab. And that's, going to be our training room's job and our doctor's jobs and sports science and in the weight room. Everybody's responsibility to make sure that is going as planned. And that's really as simple as it gets. One of the things I learned as a player is it's, what's in front of you. And the next thing in front of Mike is the rehab process. And, he's already at it. I was in here yesterday morning and walking around, grabbing breakfast, walking back up to hop into a meeting, and he was in there, getting after his rehab. So he's in a good mental space right there and is doing exactly what he should be doing right now.
Go to Michael Cunningham, followed by Torrey.
Hi, Matt. Congratulations. Welcome back.
Thank you.
From the interviews that y'all have done, it seems like you're focused on the coach first instead of the GM. What's the thinking behind that? Is it just the timing of the whole situation?
I think it's the timing. I think we're focused on both and concurrently. I think Greg can speak to this too, but the way the rules are set up, getting in front of the coaching in our situation probably makes a little bit more sense for the first 3 days. Like we're 3 days into this process, or I guess today is the 4th, but 3 days into it. These will run as concurrently as possible together. But Greg can speak more to the schedule. I have to be honest with you. It's been great to have compliance and help in there with all of the rules and what we can and cannot do and when we've got to do it, because there's a lot, and admittedly not an expert in that space, but that part, Greg can hit on a little bit better than I.
Maybe all I'd add, Michael, is just there are specific windows when we can talk to coaches, for example, that are in the playoffs, coaches that had the wild card bye. There's specific days we can talk to them and not others. So it's just more restrictive right now. When we talk to coaches, the GM's a little bit more open. And so, like Matt said, it'll be concurrent, but we've had to jump on head coach because of timing and league protocol.
Michael, let me add, is that I think, and I think Matt alluded to it earlier, it's important we land both of these planes about at the same time, because there has to be collaboration between these two individuals. So which one goes exactly first doesn't make a whole lot of difference. They've got to take turns, getting on the deck, if you will, but we want to make sure that vision-wise, compatibility-wise, mentally, and all the issues, they're going to work together, that they see the vision of football the same way, and they want to work together in a way that's respectful, doesn't mean always agree. So you want to kind of make those decisions, that are fully connected. The worst thing you can have in the NFL, probably in any organization, is have a general manager and a head coach that don't see their roles the right way, the same way, and are trying to, make decisions based on a different set of standards. So we're very sensitive to that. And that goes both ways, GM and head coach.
Hi. So in your introductory, you said that there was a sense of unfinished business that you still felt. I'm curious if you could put words to how that manifests for you in your drive to do what you're wanting to do here. And for Mr. Blank and Beadles, how did that come across in his interviews? And did that come across in his interview?
Well, it's helping us win. and winning the right way with the right people. My role and my responsibility in that is different than it was during my time here before. But I've always been a part of team sports, and I wasn't always the quarterback, right? Like growing up playing basketball or playing baseball, I played different positions, and at different times, different positions, sometimes you're the assist guy, sometimes, you're the backup or whatever. So I played sports my entire life. I've been around it my entire life, and I love being in different parts and have different responsibilities. So my responsibilities and my impact are different than they were as a player, but there's nothing better than being a part of it in the locker room after a win, and that feeling that you get of knowing it took everybody in this building. Everybody's role in this building is huge. Everybody's role is huge. And so I always felt like as a player, we celebrated it all together. And we were appreciative of everybody's efforts because it takes everyone to win. And my role's different, my responsibilities are different, but we're here to win.
Yeah, let me just reinforce that. I mean, we do, as a franchise, we do a whole variety of things to be successful. Connect with players, connect with the community, give back, a whole variety of things. This role and this responsibility is primarily involved with one thing, winning football games. We have to win football games. That's our role. That's Matt's major job. Does it, with his own capacities and depending and leaning on others, et cetera, but it's about winning games. And that's what our focus in terms of what we're talking about today really has to be. It'll be consistent.
We'll go to Charles and Ken right next to him.
Matt, welcome back. You said on the CBS set Sunday that you hope at this time next year they're talking about the Falcons and the playoffs.
Yeah, specifically Bill Cowher. Yeah, yes.
What is? Can you just talk about the talent that you saw as an analyst on this team now, and what you've heard from coach candidates about their opinion about this talent on this team?
Well, I won't speak to what any of the coaches have talked about in our interviews, but I believe there's a lot. There's a lot of young, talented players on the defensive side of the ball. We've got some offensive linemen who are really, really solid. Some of which I played with, which is kind of crazy, but really cool. I think we've got a special running back in Bijan and what he can do as a player. We've got some talented pieces on the outside. There's a lot of good pieces that are here, but I also recognize it's hard. I mean, it's difficult to win in this league, and it takes, it takes everyone. It takes everybody coming together and pulling their weight, and so I'm excited about what's here. I think there are a lot of strong pieces, and certainly confident in the players that we have in our building.
Matt, I will also welcome you, but I actually want to ask the question of the gentleman to your left.
Perfect.
Greg, you also have ascended to a pretty important position. You've been here a long time. I hope you could comment on your time here and your kind of the fulfillment of your aspirations, and Arthur and Matt, to whatever degree you'd like to add in on what Greg has done here. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. And like I said at the beginning, I just finished up my 31st season with the organization, and started out.
Yeah, well done, man.
Thank you, man. Got one fan here. Started out as an intern back in 1995, and was blessed to be able to stick around after that. Helped to sell the franchise to Arthur in 2001, and 2002 was his first season. And like I said before, after that, Arthur's a builder, and we haven't stopped since then. And I really do mean what I say before. Just every single year has been different. Been able to learn a lot of different things along the way. On the business side, helping dream about Mercedes-Benz Stadium and what that turned into, and everything that went into that. But just primarily helping Arthur and everybody else here build a sustainable organization, a thriving organization, so that we can invest back into the football team. That's why we exist, is to win championships. Arthur said that in his first press conference. His vision is to win championships on and off the field. So I have more touch on off the field things, and I think we've built a great team here. We have some just wonderful people, and now, you know, be excited about helping Matt on the field, supporting him and the guys, just everything they need to win.
Yeah, let me give Greg a shout out here too, beforehand. So I mean, obviously I've known Greg since I got drafted here in 2008, and it's a different relationship, you know, as a player. But, you know, like, always really liked Greg and had a good relationship with him. But yeah, exactly. But didn't, you know, I wouldn't say like we weren't hanging out every day. And but since I retired, getting to know Greg and Arthur in a different way, I think that happens when you finish up as a player. Your relationships change and you get to know them, you know, on a little bit different level. I had a ton of professional respect, you know, from the outside looking in. The last 3 days, this guy's an ass kicker. Like, he is really, really good at what he does. And I have walked away very, very impressed with his level of organization, detail, you know, just wisdom. And I am extremely lucky to be partnered with him and to be sitting next to him, because Greg is fantastic human being, but an excellent representation of this organization, and I love him. So appreciate Greg for everything he's done throughout the years, but everything he's done in the last 3 days as well.
We'll go to Sam Cranshaw, and Gabe.
Hey, Matt, congratulations. Welcome back. And on behalf of everyone at CBS Atlanta, we congratulate you. We also work, because now we can't run those promos you
I
done
know.
for us.
That promo was solid, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, we can't run that anymore. I was here in 2008 when you came aboard. What would the 2026 Matt Ryan say to that guy, if you could, about what this place would come to mean to you?
Wow. Man, how lucky you are. How lucky you are to about to be starting this ride. And to go back and to be able to do that again, I'd sign up for it in a heartbeat, knowing all of it. You know, just incredibly special place. You know, got to fulfill a lifelong dream of playing in the NFL, but got to do it, in my opinion, in the best organization in the league, and to play for the best owner in the league. And to me, enjoy that. You know, that's what I tell myself, you know, at that time. And then, you know, hey, 20 years from now, you might be doing something different that's pretty cool too. So enjoy that.
Hey, Ken, I would add to your question before. I'm not going to add anything on to Greg, because there's no better words that have already been expressed. I feel the same enthusiasm for him and love for him and his family and everything he's done for us before I bought the team, and obviously since. And he'll be working very closely in support of Matt and the whole building in any variety of different ways. Also kind of would like to take a parental point and acknowledge my son Josh, who's, since he's been back from the NFL, he worked for the NFL for 5 years after playing soccer and captaining at Elon. He's had great 5 years at the NFL, but he's brought back a tremendous amount of knowledge, wisdom of the league, growth, maturity, and perspective. That's been, you know, very evident to me since he's been back, but particularly on the search committee, on the candidates, on the 5 candidates that we interviewed for the role that Matt has. So call out to the young man over there with the curly hair. So.
Dave, middle.
Matt, you touched on it a little bit, but you know, what are the most important qualities in a coach aside from just pulling on the same rope? And on that end, it's been an NFL trend to hire these young offensive, play callers. Is that kind of a natural, is that a natural preference, just given your kind of history and background?
No, I think we're looking for the best coach, whatever that may look like. Kirby Smart down the road, he's a defensive guy. He does pretty good from the defensive side. So I think you look at, who is the best person to get the most out of your football team and to provide ways to win games. I've seen it work in lots of different ways. Probably influenced by Bill Cowher, the last 3 years of him sitting there telling me defense still matters, I think you're looking for the best football coach, whether it be offense, defense, whatever. You're just looking for the right person in that spot. But I do think, like I mentioned a little bit before, you're looking for people that connect with players, understand how to push players and get the best out of players, but also, are there for them, in other ways to support. I think you're looking for people who can build great staffs, and you don't do it by yourself as a head coach. You do it with the people that are around you as well. And football, more so than any other sport, it requires a team, whether that's a team of coaches, support staff, front office, scouting. It's all about the team. So you're looking for people, somebody who can bring people together. Not only the players, but the building, the staff, like that stuff matters, in my opinion.
Yeah, the other part of that matters a great deal is bringing them all together, having a common vision, whether you're talking about on the coaching side or the GM side, et cetera, or players. But it's also, after you've laid all that out, holding those individuals fully accountable for their work. So we want to be sure that we have a head coach and a GM, for that matter, and Matt, who are prepared to do that. It's relatively, I wouldn't say easy, it's easier to lay out visions, to everybody, salute the same flag, et cetera. But in the battle that takes place to win games and to win championships, you're going to have some people that, not making it. Now, you may have an opportunity to supplement, train, move them, et cetera, if it makes sense. But if it doesn't make sense, you also have the responsibility to the vision, the organization, to our fans, to the system, forget about to me, but to the franchise, to hold people fully accountable for their work. And if necessary, then you have to make a move and move on.
Go back right, home team.
Home team, Brandon Leak, Sports Radio 680 The Fan. Matt, congratulations. Good luck to you. Your thoughts on what the culture of the Atlanta Falcons has been and was when you were playing, and now that you command a tremendous amount of power, what you want it to be with your coaches and your GM moving forward. And then the second part, you talked about unfinished business for both you and Mr. Blank. How gratifying would it be? I mean, you guys work hard, you have a lot of work to do, but how gratifying would it be if you two could win a championship now with your capacity as president of football now?
I think it'd be pretty gratifying. I think everybody sets out with that expectation. If you're in this, that is the goal, and that's the North Star of where you want to head. But the trick is how you get there. And you said it, culture. It's really, to me, it's what Arthur was talking about. The best cultures are the ones that are a shared vision of the group. And it's a group that when the vision is not correct, they get it correct fast. And they hold each other accountable to getting it corrected and heading in the right direction. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a group, of people, and a lot of that is here. Like that is one of the things I know, of having been here. We've got people who are excellent at what they do and are rowing in the right direction. We just need a little bit more, and that's what we're going to get after and try and find the right leadership to steward that. So it's a culture of accountability, for sure. It's a culture of energy, and passion. And it's a culture of people who love playing, who love football. And I find, in my experience as a player, I could get along with a lot of different personalities so long as you love playing. And if you loved it, we're going to be just fine.
The other thing I would add to that is that you certainly want a head coach or any leader in an organization who not only holds, in this case, players responsible, but holds the coaches responsible also. So it's not just, the players, whatever it may be, but, your own staff. And it really, in my view, from a head coach standpoint, has to start with that. You have to show players that you're holding yourself and your coaching staff fully responsible as you hold them responsible as well and fully accountable. The other word I wouldn't use with Matt is power. We don't like to use that word any place. He has the authority, but hopefully it doesn't turn into power. It's, a matter of how do you use that authority and communicate effectively and get the results you're looking for.
Victor on your left.
Hey, Matt, congratulations. You touched on it a little earlier, but you have the family in the front row. Just how important is it for you to come into this position, come back to this building, and be in this, competitive position when now your kids are a little older to see dad and just, be in this role?
They're all laughing at me, so. No, it is. I've said it before. I think little boys see better than they hear, and you've got to show them, and so and show them the example of what you want. That's one thing professionally. It's also as a husband, as a father, you want to create a great example for them. So I try and do that in every part of my life.
Got time for one more, Taryn.
Arthur, my question is for you. Beadles has been with this team for more than 3 decades now. How do you see him continuously grow year over year, regardless of what role he's in?
The question is for me? I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I think, Greg, he's always learning, he's always listening, he's always responding. He's heavily involved in our stadium, he's heavily involved in our involvement in the community, he's heavily involved in the atmosphere, the culture we have in the building, and in every way supporting our coaches and general managers and, all the staff that's here. There's continued ways to grow into that. I mean, part of his success is measured not by those things only, but by, are we winning? Are we doing the right things to support the whole organization so the whole organization is moving forward? A lot of Matt's success will be dependent not only on the things he has direct responsibility for, but other parts of the building that'll impact the players, the coaches, general manager, and the staff, and Matt. So we want to make sure we have that, just like we want that collaboration between the head coach and general manager, we want that collaboration between Greg Beadles and Matt Ryan as well. So he's done an incredible job for us for a very long period of time, and I couldn't be prouder of Greg and the opportunities that he's developed and created and fulfilled for us and his current leadership.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.